Arizona-based EV maker, Nikola, files for bankruptcy. Here's what to know. Now, they built these big long-haul trucks, and when they came out, it's like, this is all great. Now the whole electric vehicle market, not looking so stellar, is it? Let's get into it. Here we go. Watch a little video.
Nikola industry as Nikola Motors, headquartered in Coolidge, filed for bankruptcy this morning.
Yeah, the company was making electric semi-trucks, and that was something that was unique to the 18-wheeler industry.
Steve Nielsen joins us live with a look at what this means going forward, not only in Arizona, but nationally.
Imagine the batteries.
When you get an administration that's not particularly bullish on EVs and the subsidies dry up, it's a trouble sign for the EV industry.
Even Musk has said, cut the subsidies, cut them. He said Tesla didn't ask for him. Was it GM, I think, asked for him? Oh, we need some help here.
Yeah, tough time, no doubt about it. You know, John, this is not the first EV business in our state to declare bankruptcy in the last few years. And as you mentioned, industry experts say that tough times are ahead for an industry that our state bet big on. Nearly 3 years ago, Nikola's first electric 18-wheeler was revealed to applause in Coolidge, Arizona. Are you finding there's a demand for this?
For our trucks?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now today, Chapter 11 bankruptcy for a company that ran into multiple problems since its start. The company's founder, Trevor Milton, was convicted of fraud in 2023. For exaggerating claims about the vehicle's performance. Then in 2023, multiple vehicles caught fire at their Phoenix facility.
Have you guys seen all the footage in Los Angeles, how all the cars, these burnt out, road warrior type cars, all say no EV, meaning they don't have the battery. They're not going to explode. They're not going to. So they have to identify that. It kind of tells you there's a little bit of liability just having a car sit around, right? That's been in a burning environment.
In a statement, the company said they plan to attempt to sell all of their assets and wind down business, saying, in recent months, we've taken numerous actions to raise capital, reduce our liabilities, clean up our balance sheet, and preserve cash to sustain our operations. Unfortunately, our very best efforts have not been enough to overcome these significant challenges.
I feel like this was almost inevitability.
Industry analyst Carl Brower with iccars.com says the issue was demand.
There just doesn't seem to be a lot of good use for electric powertrains in long-distance, large truck hauling.
But they're just one domino in Arizona's EV industry that has fallen. Then Governor Doug Ducey spoke about all of the Arizona companies at Nikola's launch party.
Nikola joins companies such as Lucid, Electromechanica, Atlas Vehicles, and Zero Electric Vehicles to earn the moniker Made in Arizona.
But let's dive into that. Zero liquidated assets. Electromechanica and Mesa is now empty. Their solo vehicles we test drove.
Let's rev this thing. Let's see what it can do.
Were recalled and bought back. Atlas became new and is looking to merge with a California bioplastics company. Only one of those companies is making vehicles, Lucid.
Everybody put your heads against the headrest. Go for it.
They just posted their best quarter and have a new SUV. Brower believes, though, lean times are ahead for the whole industry.
The environment for electric vehicles, especially in the U.S., isn't going to be better over the next couple of years. It's going to be worse. There's going to be less government help promoting the
less government help and less consumer demand. Those numbers have just they've been dropping, right? Number of people consuming electric cars.
These brands and these companies.
And Nikola Motors just informed the state in a WARN notice the amount of layoffs here. They say they've laid off more than 300 employees in Coolidge and more than 500 employees here in Phoenix. Reporting live, Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.
Let's get into just a few more details here on this one. According to the Associated Press report on Nikola's bankruptcy proceedings, Trevor Milton, he was sentenced to 4 years in prison in December 2023 after he was convicted of exaggerating claims about his company's production of zero-emission 18-wheel trucks. Are we just a ways off of having the technology, the ability to build, something that's going to go for that long? Because these things, they're always diesel, right? And they've got these huge fuel cells, and they go for millions of miles. Are we in a market where an 18-wheel truck that's EV powered is viable? we're kind of answering the question here. Nope, going bankrupt. But yeah, some of this stuff, like leadership here. Prosecutors said that Milton falsely claimed to have built its own revolutionary truck that was actually a General Motors product with Nikola's logo stamped onto it. Called as a government witness, Nikola's CEO testified that Milton was, I love this one, prone to exaggeration. That's lying. He straight up lying. Prone to exaggeration when pitching his venture to investors. Well, he exaggerated a little bit. Is this going to work? Kinda. Let's start building these bad boys and see how it goes. We'll see how demand goes. We'll see how that whole subsidy thing goes, and let's get out there and go. I think bringing anything new to the car industry, I mean, what a gamble, right? Just anything related to the auto industry. Just like, what? You're doing what? That's why I think so many people expected Tesla to just fall on its face and fail, right? And then Democrats absolutely loved Elon Musk at first. And then his political allegiance changed. And now all of a sudden he's literally on the signs of people out there doing that ridiculous protesting or marching. I mean, just, hey, ho, ho, Donald Trump has got to go. I mean, you carry around a sign and do that. Where are you going with that? What are you going to get out of that? You know, all these marches going on. You're like, that's a waste of your day right there, because nobody's listening. It's kind of like when people in Seattle are protesting about, Palestine. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. And it's like, okay, yeah, but you're in Seattle. They can't hear you. They can't hear you. And you know what? So many of you folks here that are doing this protesting, you're part of the LGBTQ community, because that's who goes out and protests, right? You got Antifa and LGBTQ. They go out there and it's the cause of the day. It was Black Lives Matter. It was Fentanyl Floyd. And then it went on to Palestine, free Palestine. And then now we've got hey, ho, ho, Donald Trump has got to go. And you just do that on endless repeat cycle. And, so many of these folks that are part of the LGBTQ community, they would get killed if they basically, I'm gay, I'm whatever, part of the LGBT, whatever, part of the community. You just get killed in Palestine doing that kind of nonsense, right? You just thrown off a rooftop, boop, one bounce, right? Nikola's CEO testified that Milton was prone to exaggeration when pitching his venture to investors. Milton ultimately resigned in 2020 amid reports of fraud. Company paid $125 million in 2021 to settle a civil suit. Remember John DeLorean? He was getting cars going. He's getting that cool DeLorean car going. Had that whole little buying and selling some cocaine. We're not really sure what happened there, but it didn't work out well, did it? Those DeLoreans were cool. Again, stainless steel. Why is Nikola declaring bankruptcy? I'm going to go out on a limb and say, not enough revenue to cover overhead? I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Just throwing that out there as a concept, right? Per the company's webpage on its bankruptcy proceedings, they faced various market and macroeconomic factors that have impacted our ability to operate. We have taken numerous actions. We heard about that. Raise capital, reduce liability, strengthen the balance sheet, yada, yada. I'm bored reading this. You're bored hearing it. We know what that was. Unfortunately, these efforts were not sufficient to overcome the adversities, the concerns that we have moving forward as a viable business. Yeah. Didn't make enough money. Didn't make sense. It was a no-go. They had some adversity. You had, the trucks catching on fire. The founder and CEO just basically lying. That's our truck. That's our design, and got it from GM. The AP noted that Nikola has had difficulty scaling its business. In the third quarter, it produced 83 trucks, but recorded a net loss of almost $200 million. That's not good. Got to come back from that one. It produced 77 trucks in the second quarter with a net loss of nearly $134 million. The pattern here, folks, is every quarter they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars. And that is in a marketplace where Trump has just taken over, right? I mean, inauguration January 20th. We're now February 20th. We're only a month in. You got companies going, we're out. Because you know that subsidy is just that's gonna go away. And then consumer demand for all EV products isn't going up. I've been following that for a while. And it's like people are still interested in the EV, but they're not interested at the price levels that cars are at. And that is after these prices have come way, way down, right? I mean, remember the price of a Tesla used to be just crazy. And then started to come down as demand came down as well. In a separate article released on November 26th, the AP reported that concerns about range, charging infrastructure, and higher prices. I mean, we haven't even talked about markets where it makes no sense to have an electric vehicle. After the big power outage we had here, because we had a bomb cyclone storm come through Bellevue, parts of Western Washington, nobody had power. A lot of people I know were like, yeah, maybe we're a little bit early getting into that whole EV thing. If I'm going to spend 75, I'm going to spend $100,000 on an EV. I want to have a little bit more infrastructure. I want to know I can get wherever I need to go. And that's where range comes in, right? And especially on these big trucks. What is the range of one of these big trucks? I should have researched that, but I don't care enough because I'm not buying one, and most companies aren't buying one. And any company that was buying one, they're going to need to rethink that because bankruptcy. Yeah, not good. Not good. I feel like this was almost an inevitability, said Carl Brunner. He's probably one of the guys that up front was like, it's going to be the greatest thing ever. This is going to be a game changer. Long haul trucks that are electric. I mean, they can go 400 miles at a pop. And you're like, okay, do you know how far those guys go normally? Yeah, longer than that. But anyway, we want to, hug those trees, save the environment. Massive lithium batteries that are just horrible for the earth, the way they get them, mine the lithium, mine all those chemicals. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, this is a little bit early. We're still a little early to the game on EV, but the Biden administration was just so hot to try. Get an EV, the greatest thing ever. No. The environment for electric vehicles, especially in the U.S., isn't going to be better over the next couple of years. It's going to be worse. There's going to be less government promoting these brands and these companies. Yeah. We've known that. We have seen that curve coming, right? I mean, it's just been happening. It was one of those, this is literally so great. This is so great. Oh, so great. And then, and now this big company that a lot of people are looking to for, solutions, long haul solutions. How can we get away from all that carbon emission into the environment with our long haul trucks? What can we do? Let's get an electric truck in there. Okay. Now, it's going to be a while before this becomes a thing. Remember when, and I've talked about this a bunch, remember when Biden said that we're going to be dependent upon fossil fuel to power up our vehicles for at least another decade? And all I could think of is, I think that was his last State of the Union address. What was that, like 3 years ago? Probably at least a couple, because he didn't do many, did he? I mean, he just basically went AWOL after, I'm not running anymore. I guess Kamala will take over. That whole thing. The ending of that was just like, you doing what? What's going on here? Oh, yeah. Anyway, he said, 10 years, it's going to be at least 10 years. And you're like, no, it's going to be way, way longer than that. I mean, yeah. For electric vehicles to be be able to go far enough. We have enough of a power grid to power them up. That's one of the huge things that, to me, it's like, okay, all these people that live in apartments that don't have chargers, are reliant upon a charger somewhere to be open so that they can get to work on time. They got to charge it the night before, whatever, that whole scheduling thing. Whereas you could just go to the gas station and put some of that evil oil into their vehicle. Yeah. This whole EV thing, it's not happening for a while. I mean, it's going to be a slow burn in, and it's already been that, right? But going large scale, going to trucks, okay, all right. I'll podcast on it. I'll see how it goes. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.